Mere exposure effect. You give a random song a chance on YouTube, and it turns out to be trash. It's so trash your brother wakes up from his 10-year-long coma and turns it off. But on the bus ride home, you hear it again. Some gremlins are blasting it in the back. You both agree. Certified trash. A few days later, you hear it again playing as background music at a party. You're not really paying attention, but you kind of nod your head along. Next week, it's in your head. You're humming it while brushing your teeth. And then one day, you don't just hear it. You choose it. You add it to your playlist voluntarily. Congratulations. You're now emotionally attached to garbage. This is the mere exposure effect. It's a setting in your brain that says, if I've seen it before, it must be safe. And if it's safe, it starts to feel good. It works with songs, faces, brands, even political opinions. Repeat something enough times, and our monkey brains like it because we know it. Monkey here, monkey like, monkey stream on repeat until brain fully melts. Speaking of falling in love with things you probably shouldn't, this is the IKEA effect. You spend 6 hours following instructions written in runic characters by a sadistic Swedish wizard. In the end, you have something that maybe could qualify as a bookshelf. It wobbles, it leans, it actively threatens your life. And yet you love it. You love it more than any perfectly crafted furniture you could have bought already assembled. That's the IKEA effect. It's a setting in your brain that says, if I built it, it must be valuable. And it doesn't just apply to furniture, it's the same with Lego spaceships or homemade meals. Anything you struggle to create yourself, you like more. And companies know this, and they take advantage. Look at the booming meal kit business. Preparing those kits still takes a fair amount of time and effort, and they're often no cheaper than just ordering a pre-made meal. So why does our brain have this broken setting? Because deep down, we need to feel competent. Doing things from scratch tricks our brains into thinking we're capable, smart, and in control. Simply put, it feels good. Until you try to sell your bookshelf. You might think it's worth $100 because it's vintage and rustic, but to everyone else, it's barely worth $5 and a tetanus shot. The IKEA effect doesn't just make us overvalue our creations, it blinds us to the real cost of our time. Let's say you make $20 an hour, then it's technically cheaper to spend $400 on a pre-assembled bookshelf than $300 on a shelf that takes you 6 hours to build. You're paying with time, energy, and opportunity cost. Our brains just can't grasp that sometimes effort does not equal value. Hedonic Treadmill. It's a normal day, and a TikToker stops you on the street and asks, how happy are you on a scale 1 to 10? Your answer is 5. You're not really happy, but you're also not really unhappy. Then you get to choose your prize, a mystery gift or a rotten apple. And wow, what a decision. The mystery gift contains $10 million. Turns out it wasn't a TikToker, it was just Mr. Beast in disguise. You're now $10 million richer, and you're 10 out of 10 on the happiness scale. You quit your job, buy a house, a car, and go on lavish vacations. For a while, it feels like you're living the dream, but as the months go by, you get used to it. Now the sand on the Italian beach is kind of annoying and nobody's impressed by your car anymore. You still like your new house, but it needs constant repairs. Months turn to years, and one day you're stopped by another TikToker who asks you, how happy are you on a scale 1 to 10? You answer 5 again, and you realize you're just as happy as before. This is called hedonic treadmill, or hedonic adaptation, and it's the tendency of humans to return to a relatively stable level of happiness despite major life changes. Now this might sound kind of depressing, and you may wonder why your brain has this broken setting, but it works the other way around as well. If you got paralyzed instead of winning those 10 million, you'd obviously be devastated, but over time you would eventually return to a baseline of happiness. This isn't just a thought experiment. In 1978, researchers Brickman, Coates, and Janoff-Bullman ran a study comparing 3 groups of people: recent lottery winners, recent paraplegics, and a control group. What they found was exactly what this theory predicts. After the initial emotional shock, positive or negative, each group slowly drifted back toward the same average level of happiness. Other researchers later found that we don't all reset to the same place. Your happiness set point might be higher or lower than someone else's, and this happiness set point is at least partially genetic. So if your brain has the unhappy setting turned on by default, it might just be your parents' fault. So what does this all mean? Does it not matter what we do because our happiness level is already set? Not exactly. The treadmill never stops, but you can slow it down. 3 things that help are variety, gratitude, and choosing better surroundings. Variety keeps your brain on its toes. Practicing gratitude makes you less likely to take things for granted, and choosing better surroundings makes it easier to have good moments. even if your overall set point doesn't dramatically change. In the end, happiness isn't about having more, it's about noticing more. Your brain might be broken, but once you understand how it's wired, you can still win. Affective forecasting error. Even if you did get the perfect brain setting from your parents, you still might mess it up, because your brain has no idea what will make you happy. Enter affective forecasting, your brain's guess at how future you will feel. If you're about to break up with someone, you know it'll suck, but you probably think it'll suck way more than it actually will. Psychologists call this the impact bias, the idea that we expect emotional events to hit harder and last longer than they actually do. However, there is a fix for our broken brain. Instead of trying to guess how you'll feel, ask someone who's already been through it. Yeah, it sounds lazy, but studies show it works. Other people are less influenced by your personal biases and can usually assess situations more objectively. They are basically better emotional time travelers than you. Planning fallacy. In 1994, 37 students were asked to estimate how long it would take to finish their senior theses. The average estimate was 33.9 days, but the actual average completion time came in at 55.5 days. Turns out our brains have a broken setting called the planning fallacy, which makes us very bad at estimating how much time we actually need to finish anything. We don't just guess wrong, we consistently underestimate. The Sydney Opera House was supposed to be completed in 1963. Instead, it dragged on for 10 more years. And when it finally opened, it was a scaled-down version of the original dream.
What is this? A center for ants?
And it's not just the Australians. These examples can be found all over the world. The James Webb Space Telescope launched 14 years late and cost $9 billion more than planned. The Berlin-Brandenburg Airport, 9 years late, 7 billion euros over budget. Olkiluoto Nuclear Power Plant Unit 3, 14 years late, another 7 billion euros blown. Your brain doesn't just make optimistic guesses. It ignores past failures, fixates on what feels unique, and underestimates everything that can go wrong. It lies to you because the truth would hurt too much. Illusion of control. There are 1 septillion stars in the universe. You live near one on a rock spinning 100,000 kilometers per hour through space. You'll be here for maybe 80 years, a blink in cosmic time. And yet, you think you're in control. You think that your rituals change outcomes. That effort protects you from randomness, that your decisions actually shape the chaos. This is the illusion of control, one of the most convincing lies your brain tells. If you're driving, you probably think the risk of a crash is lower than if you were in the passenger seat. Why? Because you're behind the wheel. You're in control, except you're not really. Traffic is chaos, and confidence is not control. In one study, investment bankers were asked to control a stock graph by pressing random keys. The graph moved randomly. Their actions had no effect, but the traders thought they were making it rise. The traders who were most convinced they were moving the chart scored worse on all metrics. They made less money, had poor risk management, and executed worse trades. The illusion of control is a broken brain setting, and turning it off doesn't make you weaker, it makes you clear-eyed. Ironically, the more power you have, the stronger the illusion grows, and when you start thinking you control everything, that's how you end up invading Russia in the winter. More power leads to more corruption, and usually to an overreach and risk-taking. There is one thing you do have control over, whether you subscribe to the paint professor or not. What will it be? Remember, it's not your fault your brain is wired this way. Your brain didn't evolve to see the truth. It evolved to help you survive, even if that means lying to you. But once you spot the broken settings, you don't have to follow them. See you next time.